Hey folks who are on here, how's the quality looking? Is it kind of a bit jumpy? Just curious for some reason. moment of where you were saying the encoder was being overloaded, which is a first. So should be all right now. All right, we'll see how it goes. See what happens. Hey folks, how you doing? Stan, Potato Beans, everyone else who's on here, how you all doing? Looks like my computer is settled down a bit. At first it was having a little trouble. But welcome to the live stream. We're here. Everything seems to be working, which is great. And what if it all just works perfectly? How about that? We can just affirm that. And yes, a lot of you, I'm sure, have already figured out this tune right here. Bit of a remix going on. But anyway, welcome. Nick Granville, what's up, man? Tiger. Roar. John Axe. Really great to see you all here. And if you aren't at the NAMM show, you can come to this show. It's all good. It won't be as much overwhelming sonic output on your ears, but that's okay, and probably better for your health too. But the first day of NAMM, that's happening, right? Lost for Word TV, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Stan has a question. I'll get to you real quick, Stan. For those of you who are new here, this is a cool music bass nerd hang session. So any questions you got about bass playing, pop it down in the chat. Whether it's about gear, concepts, techniques, playing gigs, doing recording sessions, playing in bands, anything, how to start a band, how to get musicians to play in your band, right? So anything like that, pop it down in the chat. This is always a great, fun community where we can connect all about bass playing, and whatever I can do to help you with your bass playing journey, anything I can do to encourage you, this is the place to do so. This is what I do here at Bass or Benjamin. So I'm glad you could be here. John X, no NAMM for me. Plane ticket prices are so that is only just the beginning of trying to get into NAMM. Not only are you trying to get a pass, a NAMM badge, which I don't know what it's like now, but when I was going to NAMM, the only way you could get one was through a company that you had a relationship with. So obviously for me, Ibanez always gave me a badge, which thank you Ibanez once again coming through. It wasn't a thing where, like Comic-Con, where you buy tickets like a year in advance and book your hotel a year in advance. It's a different type of hang. But yes, there's that, then there's accommodation, then there's food. I mean, it's a whole, you're essentially, if you're going to go to NAMM, you're spending quite a bit of money. And there's a lot of people I know who've gone so many times, who have traveled internationally. I mean, it's expensive. They hire a car and all that, and they want to drive around LA to go see all kinds of gigs and shows and all that. And then, I mean, it adds up, right? It really does. And, you know, obviously things have gotten more expensive over the years too. Trying to find parking as well. That's another thing too. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, yeah, NAMM being one of the biggest music trade show conventions in the world. The biggest one is in Germany, called Music Mess. And that one, I've never been to that one. I've only ever been to NAM, which, if there's something that's bigger than NAM, then good lord. You know, NAM was enough for me. And they do it over 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And a majority of music retailers and companies from all over the world present and have a booth set up. You won't see everyone though. That's the thing, because to have a booth there is also the price of that has gone up too. You gotta get if you're from the other side of the world, you gotta ship some of your equipment over there too. Like, it's a whole thing. And yeah, Nick knows what's up. I mean, he, being in New Zealand, there's times where he would come over to LA for the NAMM show, and so he'd be able to tell you all the logistics and all that goes into just trying to get there. Luckily for me, because I lived in LA, I could just drive down to Anaheim, and sometimes, I would pay $50 for parking if you wanted to park close, or I would park like 2 miles away in a residential street and play and just walk. And it would always be a pretty nice walk too. So, but more on NAMM shortly. Stan Lammy was asking, did you just play octatonic over a minor major, or did I hear that wrong? I can't remember what I just played over that. But yeah, over the minor major, whenever it comes up to it. So, by the way, this is, for those of you who don't know, I'm playing Watermelon Man by Herbie Hancock, but this is a total reharmonization of it. Obviously, when it gets to melodic minor, then I'll do like super low Korean stuff or whatever, that kind of sound in there. So yeah, I don't know what I played before, but that's the only kind of in that tune or that version, that only kind of minor major vibe going on. So yeah. John X, you were asking, you picked up any of those new Ibanez basses yet? Not yet. Stay tuned. All right. But he's talking about the Ibanez mode bass, which just look absolutely incredible, and I'm super pumped and excited about those, and I cannot wait to get my hands on one. So stay tuned. Right? Anybody here tried it out? I know they only just came out. I don't think they're available in stores as yet. But hey, somebody might have tried it. Who's on here? But I'm excited about it, right? And yeah, John, so if you have a booth, yeah, you have to pay for a booth. And they're obviously, they vary in size. Obviously, you pay more, you get a bigger size. So that's why a lot of the bigger companies, like Fender, Ibanez, Yamaha, Gibson, big, huge companies, they'll have huge booths. I think Yamaha even, they'll be in a different building. They have like a whole floor or 2 floors, right? Because they can, right? There's a lot of money that goes into that. But some of the smaller, exhibitors they'll even share a booth with another company. So say for example, you have like a boutique like amp or cabinet company. They'll split a booth with another company, maybe one that is making basses, like custom basses that are boutique. So both of them, they'll share the cost of the booth. And so, they both have their products there. You can try out a bass. Hey, try it through this amp. That's how it was, when I first met AccuGroove. They were sharing a booth with Muckleroy basses, Brady Muckleroy, who makes incredible instruments. And so that's how I got hip to them. I saw these cats, and so that's really common to do, and it's pretty cool when companies can like partner up like that and do that. And it's smart too. It really is. Please play Coldplay Yellow Song. Oh man, that's been a minute since I played that. We'll see. Let's see if I still remember it. Gil, what's up? How you doing? Nice to see you. That 50 is probably like 300 now. It probably is, because a lot of he's talking about the parking around the the convention center. That's the thing. It's a lot of the parking structures or hotels that offer parking, they'll totally jack up the price. I've seen that so many times. That's why in the later years that I went to NAMM, I just parked like 2 miles away and just had a nice walk. I just parked in a residential area, real quiet. But then the last year I went, they started cracking down on that as well, which was pretty funny. But anyway, I bet no one knows what bass he's playing. I know. I wonder what bass I'm playing right here, right? Like what can anyone guess what bass that I'm playing? Exactly, right? And yes, Ibanez LA Custom Shop. So yes, to answer your question, Ibanez do have a custom shop, but it's not open to the public. It's only available to the Ibanez endorsed artists. So, luckily enough, I am an Ibanez endorsed artist, if it's not obvious, and have been for the last 15 years. And so they made this beautiful custom shop bass for me. So there you go. And Hal Jalika Kick. First of all, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here on the live stream. I do have a video that I made about this bass here on my channel, so you should totally check it out. I do like a whole rundown of the instrument, all the features and all that. So definitely check it out, right? But Ibanez have had a custom shop. Now, there are a bunch of Ibanez headquarters, right, all over the world. In North America, they have them it's in LA and Pennsylvania, right? And then obviously in Japan being the main spot, right? But they've had a custom shop, for decades, but obviously for their endorsing artists. But the custom shop in LA, they make I used to go there all the time, when I was living in LA, taking my basses to get set up and do any maintenance or repairs, modifications. And they build instruments right there, like custom instruments. So, that's where they built this bass. They built all of Thundercat's basses there as well. Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, George Benson, Paul Gilbert, Pat Metheny, like they've built the stuff there. And so the same luthiers that built this bass have built all those other instruments by those artists I just mentioned as well. So that's why this instrument is incredible. because it came from those very skilled people. And I mean, they are really skilled and really nice people too. Always a great time going over there and just seeing them just focused on their stuff. It's doing really great stuff. What else we got here? Just catching up. Gil saying we're waiting on the new silent double bass from Ibanez. Hey, that would be cool. That would be cool. And you know, to have a really good electric upright bass, one that doesn't sound like a fretless bass, it doesn't sound like a bass guitar, one that has good characteristics like an upright instrument. You know, that's the thing. And that's coming from someone, you know, I'm an upright bass purist. And I'm really not into electric upright basses just because it's like I may as well just play a fretless bass. I don't want that instrument to sound like a bass guitar. I'm not going for that. That's not the thing. There's a few people that I really like who have really made their sound on an electric upright bass. Eberhard Weber is my absolute favorite for that. Incredible. David Friesen is another cat. And then yeah, those two cats I've listened to the most with that. That's how it is. So yeah, but we'll see. Maybe they can get something that has some good acoustic qualities that can compete with the Yamaha silent bass. I think they could do it. They absolutely can. I wouldn't mind giving them some input for that. In Japan and LA, but I think they're exclusive to yeah, just what I said. Yeah, exactly. Sammy G Funk, what's up? How you doing? Nice to see you. And nice to see any of you cats on here. Welcome. You can hear a bit of Watermelon Man going on in the background here. I'll get to that in a bit. Might just turn it down a little bit. But we're talking about NAMM show, which is happening as we speak. The first day of the NAMM show, and I've already seen some products that have been announced by some companies that I really like. Aguilar have just announced some things. They have a new TLC compressor and a new optimizer that has a low octave and the high octave, which is pretty cool. I'm like, man, I have to check that out. That is awesome. And they just also came out with a new combo amp, which looks interesting. It's like 2 10s, and it has like and the head is a tone hammer, I believe. So we'll see what happens. I've already seen some pretty interesting comments about it. But I think if you go on the Aguilar website right now and just have a look, you know, see the interesting things. AccuGroove just launched a new cabinet as well, an 18-inch subwoofer cabinet, a subwoofer to add to your bass rig. So it's not a full range thing; it's just a sub, but it looks incredible. And from what I understand, it's totally different than the 18-inch, you know, SWR speaker that was popular in the early 90s. This one has like a really way more tight response and sound and handling as well. And knowing AccuGroove, I know, you know, Mark Wright over there would have totally nailed it. So that would be an absolute monstrous cabinet to have in conjunction with your bass rig. John asks, a bit personal, but did you have to pay a sort of deposit for the bass, or it came complimentary with the endorsement? So I'll just tell you straight up, it was with the endorsement, all right? And not every company does that, okay? we've been with Ibanez for 15 years. They've done. This is another reason why I continue to be with them. They're really supportive of me in the things I've done, and I've done a lot of stuff for them as well. Other than play their stuff, but a lot of demos and videos. You can have a look on YouTube. There's quite a few like demo videos of new products and all that. But we've maintained a great relationship, and that is really important when you have an endorsement of any kind, whether you are getting stuff for free or if you're getting just a discount price. If you really, and I talked about this the other night, if you really believe in their products, in the stuff that they have, you want to maintain a good relationship. Now, obviously, it takes two to make a great relationship. If you're not being treated well, then sure, you might want to, look elsewhere, because, go for what you deserve. But don't always be demanding free stuff. You don't get an endorsement just so you can get free things. All right? That's not always how it is. Not every company is capable of doing that, right? The reason why I'm endorsed with, Ibanez and AccuGroove and Quilter and DR and Atmos, who else? New Neighbor, which is part of Quilter, Groove Gear, is because I appreciate their products. I think they're really good and really good to where, even if I wasn't endorsed, I would totally pay money to have the products. But over the years, I've been able to maintain a relationship with the people from these companies, and always say thank you to them as well, like every year or anytime you connect with them. If you are going to the NAMM show and you are endorsed with a company, always go and check in with the company. Just say, hey, what's up? Nice to see you all. Hey, thank you so much. Really excited about the stuff that you got here. You gotta do your part as well. It's a two-way thing. You treat them with respect, you get treated with respect, and then it can lead to great things even more, down the road. And this bass here is a result of something like that. And it really is. And every single day I am absolutely grateful to them. They did it. As well as with the groove lines as well. They provided me instruments that have helped me grow as a musician. And I want to be able to encourage other people to do the same thing. But just always understand that you're not in it to just get free stuff. You're in it because you believe in their stuff and you don't mind having your name associated with it. And either they'll give you something complimentary, or they'll give you at best a good discount on it, or they'll feature you on their social medias and stuff like that. Like, everyone has a different way of doing things, right? So that's the thing. Gil was asking, how do you deal with neck pain due to the 6-string? Well, luckily this bass is actually really light. It's one of the lightest basses I have. But the Grooveline 6-string back there is probably the heaviest bass I have. How do I deal with it? And just because it's a 6-string bass doesn't mean it has to be a heavy instrument just because it has more strings. I've played on some 4 strings that have felt like they were a fridge. I'm wearing a piano around my shoulders. It's felt like that. It just depends on the build of the instrument, the woods, the hardware, and all that. That's what it is. So how do I deal with it? Well, first of all, I wear a comfortable strap. That's going to be your go-to. A good comfortable strap. I have this strap pad on here. Groove Gear have the Duo strap, which I definitely recommend as well. Sits on both your shoulders, and you don't have to have a heavy instrument to use it. You can use it on any instrument. You really can. So that's your first step. The other one is like, yeah, you gotta like stretch. You gotta just kind of, rub your shoulders, get a massage and all that. You gotta take care. You gotta take care of your body as well. You really do. That's another thing to it. If you're sitting down and playing, don't slouch. Make sure you have good posture. Make sure you have good technique as well. But just because it's a 6-string, it doesn't mean it has to be difficult to play. It doesn't have to be a heavy instrument, because this really is not heavy at all. I have a few of my 4 strings are actually heavier than this, right? So, and the reason why Ibanez helped me out when speccing out this bass, because I told them I wanted to have an instrument that is still really solid, but is also lightweight as well. So that's why we went for the hip shot hardware, hip shot bridge, hip shot tuners, and also the woods are pretty light as well. The reason why the Grooveline 6-string is really heavy is because of the bridge. That is a high mass bridge. It is solid. It adds to a lot of the weight. It's really the majority of why that bass is heavy, is because of that bridge. But it's also a reason why that bass sounds absolutely incredible. But so does this. In a lightweight instrument, it still sounds really great. So yeah. I hope that's helpful, Gil. Guitars and such. Yeah, bass. That's right. Guitars and such. I like that name. Right now, it's bass and such, right? Bass guitars and such. So it's all good. And if you just joined on, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. We're just chatting about NAMM, talking about endorsements and all that. How to deal with any pain or anything that you might have when playing. Let me add to also, when you do have pain when you've been playing, like practicing and all that, it's always good to take a break. Just take a break. Sometimes you might have to take a break for the rest of the day. Just do that. Okay, it's your body just letting you know, hey, we just need to chill right now. Always listen to your body. Don't do this whole no pain, no gain thing, because if you have a lot of pain and you try to play through it, you're not going to get any gain. It's actually going to make things worse. It really is. I've seen it with so many musicians who just couldn't stop. They really couldn't. So always just take a break. That's always the best thing to do. John, my old P bass had crazy neck dive, messed your back. Yeah, that's the thing with some of these instruments, is that if they have like real like bad neck dive, you have to, because it's gonna force this hand or this arm to like keep it up, or to push down here. Now, thankfully, this bass does have a little bit of, it does have some neck dive. It's not like boom. The Groovelines don't. They have 0 neck dive whatsoever. It's absolutely 0. It's so well balanced, and that's why it has that interesting body shape as well. But typically, with my forearm over here, because it sits over here, so it's gonna, I'm not pushing down. It's just the weight of my arm is keeping the bass up. And when I stand up and play, then it's much better. It's only when I sit down that I'm going to get some of the neck dive, but it means that I do have, I'm able to have a lighter hand here. It doesn't have to take up so much weight. You play a bend a note and then it just like does that. Just real quick, if you're new here, please like and subscribe to my channel here, because it helps get my stuff in other people's YouTube feeds. It really does, because there's always someone new here that tunes in. Down below in the description box, all my links to my bass resources, so check them out. To my courses, you want to take some lessons with me one-on-one, whether it's a one-off, or join my bass coaching and mentoring program, where it's a more focused, goal-oriented roadmap, where we focus on your bass journey, anything to do with bass playing, any challenges you're facing, and I help you all along the way, giving you feedback on your playing, and also just lessons on any concepts or anything. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an advanced player. You can be a beginner, totally starting out on the instrument, or you can be a full working professional, and you sometimes need the occasional pep talk, right, and encouragement. That's what the program is all about. So check them out down below, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about any of this stuff. But it's all there. Check it out. Also, I'm drinking some coffee right here. If you'd like to buy me a coffee and help support this channel, you can also do so down below. Everything is there. Just check it out. But thanks for joining me. We're going to keep going here. What are the difference between bridges? I've been seeing hip shot A and B. Yeah, that's a good question, John. I'm just going to switch up the music. Let's see. There we go. Never a Bass with Benjamin live stream without some caffeine. Exactly. Caffeine with Bass with Benjamin. It helps bring out the bass nerdiness even more. That's what this is all about. Is being super nerdy with music and bass. But that's a good question. What are the differences? And I'm curious myself. What is the difference between hip shot A and B bridge? Let's see. What does it say? Any tonal difference between A-style bridges have mounting holes centered under each string for precise placement and often offer adjustable string spacing, while B-style bridges typically feature simpler fixed designs, often with solid brass barrel saddles, providing robust tone. Okay, so your B bridge is going to be a more traditional, from what I'm understanding, it's going to be a more traditional kind of thing. And the A is going to have a little more modern features. So this one here is definitely an A bridge, because if it was going to have more traditional, the B, it's going to have those barrels like you'd see on a Fender bass. But this thing here, also, you're able to do a string through. This is not a string through bass, but this bridge definitely has the option, if you wanted, to put it on an instrument that is a string through body. And I've never had an instrument with a string through body. There's all these arguments and debates about whether that, affects your tone and all that. I don't know. I mean, I know at the end of the day, just like with wood and all that, the player will feel the difference in terms of how the instrument responds to these kinds of things. That's how it is. But in terms of hearing it in a mix with a band and all that, you're not going to really notice it. That's been my experience. The player will notice it, that's for sure. And I think that's the point, is that it inspires you to play things differently when you hear and feel things, when the bass responds in a certain way, right? That's what it is. And tonally, I can hear the difference between this bass and my groove line bass. I really can. Obviously, yes, they're two different instruments, but they are very similar in terms of the type of materials that are being used. So they do have the same woods except for the neck and the fingerboard, but the body is the same. So it's ash and alder. Obviously, I've got a bird's eye maple fingerboard, and maple neck with I think it might be Purple Heart stripes going through the back, right? That's what it is. The groove line, obviously a rosewood fingerboard with rosewood neck with wenge stripes in the back, right? And that bass has a more like woodier, warm, nice kind of growly, tone to it. Really does. Really fat. And this one definitely has a brighter, kind of snappier kind of tone to it. Still with a really nice tight low end. But it definitely inspires me to play differently, for sure. And depending on the music that I'm playing on, that it's going to make me play a certain way. there's a nice singing quality as well, especially up on the register. But, you know, down low. So yeah, you get the idea. That's just the nature of instruments and all that. Yeah, the thing that I'm still getting used to on this instrument is just it's especially playing it on gigs as well, is that it's really it's probably the most responsive bass that I have, meaning that you don't have to put a lot into it to really get the things you want. And that's something that, you know, be like, oh yeah, that's cool, you always want that. Sure, you never want to fight with an instrument, but if you've maintained a certain balance or resistance on another instrument, you know, like the groove line for me, which is still a very slick and fluid instrument to play, this one definitely responds more, and it could be because of it being a slightly brighter in nature, right? And so that's the thing I'm still trying to get used to. It's like, especially when playing live, is like when I'm playing lines that I don't need to, like, you know, force my way into it so much. Like, it responds pretty lightly. Especially if you want to fly on it, you know, it really lets you do that, but you have to make sure that you don't overdo it on this instrument, right? Setup settings on it, I can put this thing super low. I've tried it at super low. It doesn't work for me. I don't really do well with super low action. I've also put this action a little higher, and I was like, oh, that's a little too much. So I'm just, you know, getting that right balance of where my hands feel natural, the natural attack of it, and both hands are balanced. You know, I don't want one hand working harder than the other. I want them both to be balanced. And so that's what I'm still just trying to figure out with this instrument. I'm really close. Right now, it's probably the closest. And that's a combination of, yeah, how you set the action, where you've got the neck, and also because I play over the pickups, it's also the height of the pickups as well, because that affects your picking hand attack. So those are the things I do to get them balanced. When I play my groove lines, especially the 6th string, that thing is dialed in. It's exactly how it needs to be. And when I pick that up, I'm like, oh yeah. And I've also been playing that bass the longest as well. Spent the most time on that instrument. So essentially I'm getting this bass to feel like the groove line, which is difficult because, yes, they're two different instruments, and this has a slightly, by 1 millimeter, it's a tighter string spacing. So, and that makes all the difference. It really does. This is 17 millimeters. The groove line is at least 18. millimeters. Might be 19. It's definitely it's possible. I think it might be 19. Yeah, it is 19. The cool thing about the hip sharp bridge is that you can extend you can adjust the string spacing. So I was able to actually do that. I think it was John X. I think you had suggested that a few months ago. That why don't you just try doing that? And I was scared to do it because I'm like, no, but I don't know, like I don't want to like ruin things, but anything. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what, maybe I should do that. And I contacted a buddy of mine who is a luthier, and I asked him, I was like, how would I do that? And so he he gave me some instructions on how to do that properly. And so I was able to put this to 18 millimeters. So it feels good now. It definitely does. The strings are not going over the edge of the fingerboard. It feels really good. And so these are the things that you just do with your instrument as you get to know it, and also as it adjusts to your playing. You figure out new things about it to really personalize it. And that's what you got to do with your instruments, is you got to personalize it to you. Don't just have things adjusted just because somebody else has, right? I do have one exception. My P bass has flat rounds on it. It's got higher action because I'm trying to get that sound with it. That's why. I'm not going to play the stuff I play on this on that bass. That is for that specific sound. Yes, I'm trying to go for that 60s R&B soul kind of thing. Jameson, Chuck Rainey, Carol Kay, Duck Dunn, Tommy Cogbill kind of thing, right? So that's why it's set up like that. But still, I don't need to fight with it. It's still an easy bass to play, but it's like driving an old car. That's what it is. It definitely does have a really nice silky low end to it when you play down here. They're very balanced, these instruments. They really are. The groove line is absolutely balanced. It's like a piano. You play up high, it's beautiful and all that. So yeah. So who here has been to? I know a few of you have been to NAMM show. Who's been to the NAMM show over the years? And what did you think? And how many times have you gone? I've gone to a lot of NAMM shows. It's been 6 years since I went to my last one. But when I was younger, in my early 20s, I would go all 4 days. And, I mean, it was a lot. But, I was young and I could do that, and I didn't care. I was excited, You see a lot of things. You really do. As I got older and was like, okay, I understand what NAMM is, I would only just go on the Sunday. And that was nice because it was definitely, as things start to kind of wind down. It's still kind of busy, but it's definitely a little more chill and all that. And you still see some really great stuff, which was really cool. You have to have this kind of... You have to have this thing of like not necessarily having too much expectations in terms of like what you're going to do in NAMM. If some people, they have this whole list of all the booths that they're going to go to, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and that's the thing. Is that you go in there and it's so overwhelming. You go to a booth and then you're like, hey, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna go to that, and then you only get to like 2 or 3 things on your list. That's the thing. So it says get a guitar, goodbye. Well, technically this is a guitar. It's called a bass guitar. You know, that's what it is. So, you know, you missed out, man. And that's the thing. It's like you can play this instrument like a traditional guitar if you wanted to, even if it was 4 strings. But I play 6 strings because I get to go through all the range. You have more range, just like how you would on a piano or a keyboard. All right, we had enough of Minnie Riperton there. Yeah, this definitely is feeling good. I do actually have a guitar here too. So, it's not mine, it's my wife's though. No, these are not the dragon skins. I do have a few dragon skin sets. These are the high beams. That's a cool little Lydian little exercise, or even just a little phrase to do in terms of the shape. Especially if you want to go through several octaves. And so what I'm doing is, so in this case I'm playing an A major 7, or A Lydian. And what's really cool, so so if you have, so just to show you, just on like if you have just a 4-string bass, essentially what I'm doing is I'm starting on the major 7 first, and going up to the tonic. So I'm going 7, 1, 3, sharp 4, and then I start the pattern again. 7, 1, right? So, and the fingering I'm doing for that is I'm starting on my index finger and going to my 2nd, so that I can play the major 3rd with my index, and then I'm playing that sharp 4. My third finger on that sharp 4, and then so I can then pivot with my index to go up a 4th to the major 7, and then I start the whole shape again. Now I'm in the next octave, right? Obviously on the 6-string bass, you can do this over 3 octaves. Obviously you're gonna have to slide up here, but and so that gives you a nice sound in terms of like, okay, you know, playing something Lydian. You can also play this over if you have a half diminished chord, so a -7 flat 5. So say for example, if I'm playing this E Lydian phrase. Now, how do I figure out, okay, this really nice this really nice little phrase over? Well, look at the Lydian note of this E major 7. It's a B flat, right? Just a tritone away from our tonic, right? And if I was to play do it as a triad. What's my computer doing here? It's saying encoding overloaded. It's getting. I think it's getting better. It's just kind of fluctuating like this. All this theory talk and 6 strings and all that is like overwhelming it. So I apologize if the quality is a little kind of whack right now. So going back to what I was playing, an E Lydian, Nick Granville, good to see you, bro. Hey man, get a bass. Oh, you already do have a bass. You know, since I was told to get a guitar, and I'm gonna tell a guitar player, Nick Granville, he's a guitar player, go get a bass, man. Actually, he does have a few basses. He's got a double neck hybrid. It's a double neck. It's a guitar on the bottom and it's a bass on top, which is really cool. And it's an Ibanez too, from like the 70s. It's pretty dope. Take care, man. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so I apologize if if it's like freezing a little. Anyway, I'm trying to get to this whole thing of like how you can play this over a half diminished chord. So I'm playing E Lydian, and I can play that over a B flat half diminished. And how do I figure that out? Is because the Lydian note it's always going to be the Lydian note in whatever key you're in. So if I play this this B flat half diminished, I'll just loop the chord freely. Right? So I've got that, and then I can play this. That's a really nice sound. Because it covers the notes that you would play in a B flat half diminished, right? That's the really cool thing about it. is that you can utilize that. So if you come across, and then so how do you do it from the other way? If you are playing a tune and you come across a half diminished chord, well, say you come across a tune and you got a B flat half diminished chord. How do I play a Lydian chord over that? Well, what is a tritone above that B flat? It's an E. So play E Lydian. If you come across something that is a D half diminished, what's a tritone above the D? It's A flat. Or A flat, so play A flat Lydian. Right? So those are the real cool things about it, and what you can do and how you can approach a half diminished chord. Is how do you play Lydian over that? That's what you can do there, and that was a really cool thing that I had discovered. I mean, years into my journey of learning improvisation. And again, I apologize for the jumpy frames. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if like maybe OBS needs to be updated properly. I mean, I've tried not to do the update because last time I did an update and it actually just caused absolute chaos where the whole thing was just literally at like 2 frames per second, and I had to go back to an older version of OBS that I was using for it to actually go back to normal. So I apologize if you're looking at this and it's just going like sounding like robot. Dueling basses, Nick, right? Shane 2112, how you doing? I'm a beginner guitarist. Do you have any tips on getting better at the metronome? I always seem to be at just the right timing until my playing starts to be faster or slower. Yeah. There's this argument that, you shouldn't use a metronome. I think you should use a metronome. I think when you practice with it, then you're going to have like incredible time, but it can make you aware of things, and it can make you aware of how your time feels when you're playing along to something that has a good clock. Obviously, when you play along with musicians, and particularly in our case, play along to a drummer, there's going to be that the human aspect of it where the time is going to fluctuate. It's going to breathe, where it's going to have this push and pull thing. That's just the nature of how we play. Even if you have it like really close, it's still going to have this kind of just small little fluctuation. That's just the nature of it. But the important thing is that the goal is to not have perfect time to where you are like metronomically or like where it's quantized so accurately. The goal is to have a good feel, a good beat to where it feels good. It feels consistent, but again, doesn't have to have this like everything is accurately spaced out. No, it just has to feel to where like when you listen to the music, it's infectious. People are going to not be able to help themselves but move, right? That's the whole thing. So in terms of like, okay, getting better with the metronome, and what I can do, I know my looper has a metronome on here. All right. Has a little hi-hat metronome on there, which is cool. I never use that, but that's what it has. So you can hear that there's a strong beat. Obviously, this is quarter notes going on. And typically, I use a metronome app on my phone called Pro Metronome. It's really great. You can select the different beats to be accented, different meters and all that. It's really great. But for something like this, you want to listen first. You want to listen so that you can start to synchronize your internal clock with it. You want to synchronize yourself with it. And if you're if you're a beginner at this, it's a good idea to just take a few minutes and just listen so you can feel. Because you really need to feel this. And you need to allow yourself to just also move with it too. Like how I'm doing, like naturally, this is what I do. I do the side to side thing. I might make some mouth sounds or whatever, you know, as if I'm playing drums or something. All right. And then when you play along, just choose any note. Just choose any note and just play the first beat of the measure. If we're playing 4/4 here, right? We're just going to play the first beat. That's it. We're going to start off real simple, too. And what I'm doing, you know, sure, this might sound really like, oh, that sounds kind of boring, you know, like I want to play some hip stuff. What I'm doing is I'm focusing on where I'm placing that note and also where I'm releasing it as well. I'm listening to the other beats of the metronome. I'm treating it as if it's some sort of percussion. Obviously, this is a hi-hat sound going on, but, you know, whether you've got this kind of metronome or something that is going like, bing, boom, 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 bing, but, you know, like, my goal is I want to get a good center for when I play my notes. And if I can make that one note sound and feel good, then I'm getting closer to being able to, like, really get in with the metronome. And so when you do this, take your time with it. Just really appreciate when you get to play it and the space that happens in between each note. And also, the other thing too is, like, you want to make sure that when you're playing, that you are still acknowledging the other beats that are happening, right? The other beats that are happening in the metronome. 2, 3, 4. Because that is going to help you in terms of your accuracy of when you play each note. Now, like I said, we don't want to have, we're not trying to just get absolute precision, right? We just want to be able to get things that feel good. You still need to have good accuracy with this, but that is, in terms of getting it like right on the bullseye every single time, that is not the goal, because that's going to be different when you play with someone live. You need to have a good agreement with who you're playing with to make sure that you and the drummer, keep things consistent. So then after doing that for a few minutes, then I recommend now doing like a pickup beat. into the note that we're playing. So we've been playing downbeats on beat 1, right? 3, 4. So like that. That's really important there. Why do I recommend doing that one? Because it's something like that. When you have that pickup beat, that you're adding more notes. When you start to add more notes, then this is when, okay, you need to make sure that you're still right on it. So that when you add more notes, and you want to be relaxed, right? When you're playing. Don't be thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. You have to feel it. That's all I can say to you. You got to feel it. And that's why it's important to take the time to listen to it. 2, 3, 4. And you also have to allow yourself to give in to the beat of it. Just like how when you listen to any kind of music that has great feel, has great sound, you can't help but just be like, oh man, this is so awesome. It feels so good. It sounds so good. You gotta do the same thing when you're playing the music. And when things work out really well, things ticking by, you can't help but just be able to sit in there and be able to like really play your best. So you gotta feel. It's all about feel. It really is. Whatever it is, just know that's like, don't just rely on the thing that is happening to give you the good time. You need to develop the time yourself so that when, oops, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. When I turn it off, that when you have when you're just playing by yourself, you have a good internal clock, you have a good pulse that feels good. Sure, is it going to kind of fluctuate a little? Yeah, it's going to, but you don't want it to be, it's going to have a little bit of sway too. But that's plenty, if you have good feel and you're confident about what you play, then that is what's really going to carry it. You want to have this good drive to when you do that. And man, wow, this is showing like 12, it went down to 12 frames per second. What's going on here, man? This is crazy. Consider turning down video scenes or using like this is the first for me. I gotta look into what update is. It's definitely OBS. I think, yeah, that's crazy. Now I just clicked on settings just to kind of see, and now it's giving me the good old spinning wheel. Okay, now we should be alright. But and this is the thing too. Like I'm not a super like technical computer person, it's like freezing up, right? It's like, I don't know why it's doing this. It's crazy. You know, the bit rate. I mean, I've got a decent bit rate. That's so weird. Consider to like encoding preset. You know, I don't know. Is it just a lot for my computer to handle? It's possible, but I mean, I've never encountered this necessarily before. So I got to look into maybe the next. I got to look at the next update. Oh yeah, that's real bad. Yeah, that's crazy. Audio bitrate maximum. I mean, I can increase the bitrate. Or even turn it down. Let's try putting it up. That's what the like. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm sorry, folks. This is new, and it just seems to be like kind of just getting worse too, as it's happening. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I've never seen it like this. And there was that time. I mean, yeah, 12 frames per second. That's crazy. And it's just giving me a lot of spinning wheels as well. Yeah, it's gotta be OBS, because just anything I navigate around on OBS is just lagging like crazy. If possible, I might need to update it. But the stream. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize, folks. You know, if you can get off a little, not over, it's disjointed. Yeah, it was doing so well too. So what? Yeah, it's getting spinning wheel. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, she's this. I'm gonna restart my computer. It's making my computer very slow. Restart my computer.